You to listen. This is a general in the army, a religious Jew, and he is calling out and letting everybody know that everything we do, the tillim we say, and the learning we do, and the tzedakah we give, how much it is affecting them. So I'm going to play it. In the meantime, I don't have to talk, so I'll gain a few minutes. No, it's short.
Hi, shalom everyone. My name is Betsy. I am a general in the Israeli Army, Vice Commander of Armored Division. I have 20,000 soldiers under my command. Most of them, or I would say all of them, are reserve. People between 22 up to 50, 60 years old, coming from all over the country. Teachers, lawyers, bankers from the north, from the south. And fighting together. We are responsible today, my division, are responsible for the central part of Gaza, the road from Netzarim and the surrounding, Sarat, El Burej, Jibalia, Zaytun, nice villages, or nice neighborhoods, that we are fighting there day and night. And bear in mind that it's not easy. It's not easy. One, it's a very long time. Some of us more than 200 days in the last war, in the field, in the tanks, in the houses. As you can imagine, we are sleeping when we sleep, with the shoes, with the uniform, with the ceramic. I'm not talking about showers, we don't have something like this here. And it's tiring. And I can tell you that the fact that people around the world understand, support, admire what we are doing, learning for us, praying for us, davening, it helps. It helps, it gives the strength. We understand that in our back, Am Yisrael is behind us, and what we are doing is for everyone. Yes, we are here fighting, but we are fighting in the name of everyone in Israel and every Jew around the world. The Jewish nation behind those soldiers, behind us, and it's really, really helped us. Every helmet that you send, every ceramic, every food, every challah, every Friday we got chalot, every arba minim that we get in Sukkot, everything is a kind of network that helps us to understand that we are not alone. We are not here, and our families at home that worried about us. We are messengers, we are shluchim of Am Yisrael. And of course, you are part of Am Yisrael, and the fact, far away, 1,000 miles from here. Now it's night here, I assume that it will be during the day when you see the video. People like you, standing and understand that we are together. We understand every Mishnah and the Fyoimi, every Rambam, every Tehillim that they say, every time that they say to the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Hoshana, it's not only for them, it's for us also. So thank you so much for what you are doing. Thank you for Danny that bring you the message and help us so much, the soldiers, to feel that we are part of, the network around the world. And every small step counts. Every small thing that we are doing. You are writing something at the Facebook for Israel. You are saying Kapitel of Tehillim. You are learning more Tafyoimi or Yerushalmi or Rambam. Everything counts. Everything that you are doing. So thank you so much. And together, we will stay together. And I'm sure that you can see that Yeshua Hashem can fine. We will win. Thank you so much.
Okay, just a reminder that the tillim we say is going a long way. Okay, so this class is on davening, tefillah. We stopped in the middle. I think I want to start again just to back up a little bit from the beginning of the brachas. So take out your siddur, whether it's siddur in here We're going to do the 18 brachas in the morning. So in each of the things that we're going to be learning, I want to give it to you in the simple pshat and a little bit of Hasidic insight in the brachas. Because there are many layers of depth in the Siddur. Actually, all the blessings and everything was composed by, we learned yesterday, Anshe Knesset Agdolah, who were all Nevi'im, they were prophets, great sages, so everything is there. And therefore, there's more depth to it. Let me start again. I'll take a Siddur also. Now, the Siddur comes in all different forms and sizes and shapes and text, but it's the brother, so everyone has it in their Siddur. So these brachas are 18 brachas. And basically we're thanking Hashem as we wake up in the morning. And we thank Hashem for everything that He gives us. The reason why these 18 things are spelled out is because obviously we want to thank Hashem for everything. And everything, the list doesn't end. But according to our sages, these 18 include all the brachas of the person in one way or another. In some ways you see it more clearly. If you would be writing it, if I would be writing it, you might have put in different things. But they understood that these 18, they include all the blessings and the gifts that Hashem gave us. So, also, I'm going to add that when we make these brachas, we're doing two things. Number one, we're thanking Hashem for the past. Number two, we're asking Hashem for the future. So when we say, let's say, thank you Hashem for giving me vision. We're thanking Hashem for what He gave me up until now. And we're asking Hashem to have healthy eyes in the future, both. So the word Baruch, also we explained in the previous classes, the word Baruch itself is a question. Baruch means, may you be blessed, Hashem. On the surface, it sounds very strange. Who are we to bless Hashem? How does that make sense? He's the source of all blessing. So what I mean, we're blessing Him. Anyone remember the answer? So first of all, when we say Hashem, bless you for this, bless you for that, really it's another way of saying thank you for this and thank you for that. That's what we mean. According to Chassidus, this is not the place to go into these things at length, but just an idea. The word Baruch in Hebrew has another meaning. Baruch could also mean to draw down. And what we're saying is, and not only saying, but when we say the words, we're actually making it happen. We're drawing down that godly light that gives me vision, that gives me strength, that gives me the ability to walk, that gives me the ability to do A, B, and C. Like we explained that everything that happens physically comes from Hashem, from a spiritual source. And by us pronouncing these words and thanking Hashem, we're not only thanking Hashem, we're also drawing down those that light from Hashem, that energy of Hashem that enables me to have this bracha. So I'm not sure exactly how far we got, but the first thing we started off with was thanking Hashem for giving us a rooster. And the rooster wakes us up in the morning, and the rooster makes a difference between day and night. So we thank Hashem that He created a rooster, otherwise we'd be sleeping all day. So we have a rooster that wakes us up and tells us. Today we don't have roosters, at least not in Brooklyn. We have alarm clocks. So we should change the bracha. So obviously, it doesn't matter if it's a rooster, or it's an alarm clock, or it's your mother waking you up, or anybody. We're thanking Hashem for the whole idea that there's something there that wakes us up. And again, the Hasidic little insight into this, we're also thanking Hashem. The words are, thank you Hashem for the rooster that helps us distinguish between night and day, which means we're also thanking Hashem for giving us the wisdom to distinguish between darkness and light, between good and the opposite, which is really the biggest challenge that we have all day long. In fact, the challenge is not so much to know, not so much to choose the good and not to do the opposite. That's a little bit easier. The challenge is to know what is good and what is the opposite. Most of the time when people do something which is not positive, it's usually because they think that it's positive. They're confused. They don't see things clearly. So for that, we need Hashem's bracha to be able to make that distinction. The next bracha is we're thanking Hashem for koyach ivrim, to open the eyes of the blind. At night we were sleeping, our eyes were closed. Wake up in the morning, we thank Hashem that we have the ability to see. And again, we recognize and acknowledge that the reason why I can see is not just because I have eyes, but because Hashem is giving me the bracha to see. And unfortunately, sometimes when people are in trouble and something goes wrong, they realize this is Hashem's bracha that I could see. And don't take it for granted. So again, the literal meaning is thank you Hashem for giving me healthy eyes. And we thank Hashem for the past and we ask Hashem for the future. And the deeper meaning is when you talk about seeing, there's physical seeing, and there's also seeing meaning insight. In other words, there are people that with their physical eyes they can see, but they really don't see the real meaning and the real identity of things. So that's in fact the difference between, it's interesting, a person who's is in the eyes more than anything else. You don't see the difference in the hands or the legs or the other parts of the body. Where do you see the difference if a person's awake or not? Is in the eyes. So if your eyes are open, then you can see where you're going. But if you have physical eyes, but you don't see the true meaning of things, the true purpose of things, the true identity of things, you're also, in a sense, blind, and you won't know the right direction to take because you don't understand what you see. So this is called the eyes of the mind. There's the eyes that are flesh, and there are the eyes of the mind. In fact, we also use the word vision sometimes in a figurative way. Someone says something to you, explains it to you, you say, I see what you're saying. What do you mean you see? It's a way of saying, I understand what you're saying. So we thank Hashem for giving us true understanding. Then comes the third bracha. The third bracha is Mater Asuri, which means to untie those that are bound. When a person is sleeping, his body like sort of you're not flexing the body all night. So when you wake up in the morning and you can stretch and your body is flexible, we thank Hashem that we have the body is able, so we're not tied up, so to speak. The body is not crunched together. There's also a deeper meaning. The word asurim, bound or tied up, could also mean tied up in a figurative way. When a person is find themselves in a way that they can't let go of a certain negative character trait. I mean, for example, let's say a person who has an issue with anger, and they understand that it's wrong, not like the one who doesn't see or who doesn't know. They understand that it's wrong. They see the negative results, but every time something happens, they can't control it. They just lose their temper. A person has temptation for certain things. Imagine a person who the doctor tells them, you're not allowed to eat this food, this is dangerous for you, because you have this and this condition. And every time it comes to eating, they go for it. I know it's not healthy. The doctor told me, I believe every word, but I'm still doing it because I can't control myself. That means you're bound. So with our character traits and our weaknesses, we're also asking Hashem, we should not be bound to it. We should be able to untie ourselves and release ourselves to be free to do what I want to do or what I should do, and not be sort of a slave to my own temptations, my own impulses. That's bound. What? bound? אסור. כמו חבוש בבית אסורים.
אז כאילו זה להתיר
היצהרה can bind me, ties me up.
Okay.
So if a person feels that I can't let go of a certain negative character trait, jealousy, anger, arrogance, whatever it is, selfishness, if I can't let go, that means I'm bound to it. So we also thank Hashem and we ask for the bracha to be able to be let go of those negative things. Okay. Okay. Then we come to Zekeb Kefufim, so I think that's where we're up to. So let me give out the sheet of this week. We did 2 classes before, this is the 3rd class. So let me give this out. Okay, so we can pass this down. So this bracha is Zekeb Kefufim. Generally, it's the bracha that we make when we get out of bed and we're able to sit. We make a bracha that we thank Hashem that we could sit. We can be in this position of sitting. Later, there'll be a bracha that we could stand. But the first thing is that we could sit. By the way, again, there are people that unfortunately they can't do that. They can be in a bed, but they can't sit up, either because there are different kind of conditions with their back or the parts of their body that it's so painful they can't see. Thank Hashem that He gives us the ability to sit. In Chassidus, it gives an interesting explanation that when you sit upright, one of the differences between a human being and an animal is animals walk on 4 legs. So when you walk on 4 legs, you only see the earth, you don't see the heaven. If you're able to sit upright, you see the earth and you see the heaven. So basically, we're thanking Hashem that I can also see the heaven, not only the earth, which means I can see the reality of spirituality, not only the reality of physical and material. In fact, in everything that I'm involved with, it's a bracha if I can see it from a human physical perspective, if I can also see it more from a spiritual perspective. So that is the ability to be able to be upright. The next bracha is Mal b'sharumim. Hashem gives me clothes. Hashem gives me clothes. Very good. The fact that we have clothes is a bracha. We know that the Chumash said that Hashem gave clothes to Adam and Chava. So even though I get my clothes by going to the store and I buy clothes, but we know this is Hashem giving me the bracha that I can buy clothes. I can buy the kind of clothes that I like. I can afford to buy the clothes. This is all part of our brachas. Spiritually, what are clothes? Maybe you learned about this in Tanya. What are the garments in Chassidus? Right? Thought, speech, and action. That's also clothes. And we thank Hashem for giving us the proper clothes, thought, speech, and action in a positive way. Also, something to thank Hashem, the ability to have the right thoughts, the right speech, and the right action, and to express myself in thought, speech, and action in a positive way. The next bracha is we're thanking Hashem for giving us strength. I don't know, I thought it's on this page, but it's not. This must be all belong to the previous lesson. Giving us strength, which means both things. In other words, physical strength. I mean, we all know what it means sometimes when you're very tired, you're exhausted, and you're drained, you don't have the strength to do things. You go to sleep, wake up in the morning, and you're good again. But sometimes people throughout the day don't have the strength. So we give Hashem a bracha for giving us strength. And then we also can interpret this as giving us strength spiritually, that I should have the strength and the motivation to do what I need to do spiritually in serving Hashem. The Hebrew word for strength is koyach. By the way, what's today's day? Today is koyach. Today is the 28th day of Tishrei. They have koyach, strength. The next bracha is the bracha that Hashem gave us the ability to stand. What does it say? Thank you, Hashem, for putting the earth on the water. What does it mean? When at first Hashem created the world, there was only water. When you're on water, you can't stand. Even if you're on something on the water, it's shaky. It's not stable standing. But now that we have earth, we can stand up and we can stand in a solid way. So we're thanking Hashem. Now we have that ability to stand in a solid, stable way, not in a shaky way. And I guess this is the bracha of Gashmias, that a person should be healthy. Unfortunately, there are people that they walk, but their walking is not, they don't have a full grip on themselves. They could fall, they can easily lose their balance. And even people that are not older, even because they're not well, or sometimes something else happens and you just, have some sort of a dizziness. So you thank Hashem that I'm able to walk and I'm able to stand, not walk, stand, and stand in a solid way. And spiritually, standing in a solid way also means not to flip-flop, to take my steps in Yiddishkeit and to stand in a certain place and to be strong, not to lose my standing spiritually. The next bracha is for walking. Hashem gives us the bracha to walk, but it doesn't just say walking, it says Hashem prepares the steps of man. If you look at the English translation in your Siddur, it says, thank you Hashem for preparing the steps of man. So I want to explain that a little bit better. And for that, I want to give out a sheet here from a Yom Yom. Where is it? Okay, I'll see. These words, thank you Hashem for preparing my footsteps, is based on a verse where it says, man's footsteps are established by Hashem. So look where the check is. It says Elul 3. This is the Hebrew term that you always hear, Hashgacha Pratis. Whoever has faith in individual divine providence knows that man's steps are established by God, which means that this particular soul must purify and improve something specific in a particular place, and sometimes for centuries, or even since the world's creation, that which needs purification or improvement waits for the soul to come and purify or improve it. In fact, the soul also has been waiting ever since it came into being. When will its time come to descend to earth so it can discharge the task of purification and improvement assigned to it? What this means is that every year is actually compared to a candle, which means our purpose is to bring light, godly light, into the world. Now, how come everyone in this room is here now? You're from Argentina. What are you doing here? You're from Israel. What are you doing here? You're from California. What are you doing here? I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm from Brooklyn. Okay. Well, what am I doing here in this room? You're from England. What are you doing here? You're from Ukraine. Everybody's from a different place. What are you all doing here? Hashem is leading you here. He led you here. You have a purpose of being here. Right now, I'm not talking about you came here because you want to study. On a soul level, your neshama is being guided by Hashem. All the reasons that led you to come here was because your neshama needed to be in this place, and by you learning here, davening here, doing mitzvahs here, you are purifying this place. What it says here is based on a story with the Rebbe Rashab and the previous Rebbe. They were once traveling, and on the way, they saw on the side of the road, from the distance, two Hasidim sitting near a mountain, and they're doing something. So the Rebbe Rashab said to stop the horse and wagon, and told his son, the previous Rebbe, go a little bit closer and see what they're doing. It looks like they're learning, but go and see what they're doing. So he comes back and he says, they're studying a mimer. In fact, they're studying the mimer that you, meaning the Rebbe, had said Shabbos earlier. I forgot what year it was, but the Rebbe Rashab said you should know that this spot here on the road has been waiting since the beginning of creation, for 5,650 something years, that someone should come there and study Torah. So when they stopped off, they were just tired, so they stopped off. But really, Hashem was leading them to that spot. And it works both ways. Number one, the spot needs them. Number two, the neshama, that's part of the neshama's sort of mission. Every neshama has a mission. You know, like a soldier goes out to war, you're going to be here, you're going to be there. Hashem gives each neshama a mission. So the neshama's mission is, and that's why we are born to begin with in different places. One person is born in one country, one in another country, is because each person starts their life and is in a place where they're meant to elevate those sparks. In fact, this is very helpful if you ever get lost. Baal Shem Tov once said, when a person travels and you get lost, you took the wrong road. Usually people become very upset. What, that's so stupid, why did I go here? I should have gone there. I should have asked someone, I took the wrong train, I took the wrong bus. There's no such thing as a wrong train and a wrong bus. If you took the wrong train, you took the wrong bus, you took the wrong turn on the highway, your neshama had to be in this place because there's a purpose of you being there to elevate you. And then you'll find your way back, but you had to be there. So that's what it means. Hashem prepares the footsteps of men. He guides us where we need to go. So then why do I go anyway? I should just say, okay, Hashem, take me. No, we use our intelligence and our own logic to make decisions. But we have to understand that what's deeper behind it, that's something deeper that's behind it. So everything is about Birkot Hashachar. And sometimes, I'll just get to it in a second, sometimes we actually can see openly how amazing things came out of the fact that I came here, that person came there, and two people connected, and one person helped the other person. And had I not made that turn or the other turn, never would have met. In other words, we see more clearly, it's more pronounced, how this wasn't just by chance, that this was being led by Hashem. You know, especially people now, soldiers in the army, have incredible stories. I read so many stories, I heard people telling the story, how they just happened to walk into a building or walked out of a building, or they met this person and that person, and through that their life was saved. You know, a person who was running to catch a car, a taxi, or a plane, or a train, and somebody stopped them, and because of that they missed the flight, and then their life was saved. The things like that are really incredible stories. But what is it? That's called Hashgacha Pratis. So Hashgacha Pratis doesn't just mean that Hashem is in charge. The word Pratis means individual. There are many people that believe that Hashem is in charge, but they say he's in charge in a general way, but not that he's leading me. And I always point this out, it's very interesting. There's an expression somewhere, Hashem counts the footsteps of men. When you read these words, you say, so what? Hashem counts my footsteps? That's just impossible. Mm-hmm. Today, everyone could count their footsteps. If you have one of these things, you set it up, they'll tell you at the end of the day, today you took 3,542 footsteps. So it says in the Torah, Hashem counts our footsteps, which means that's part of my shlichus. I was supposed to go to this place, that place, and the other place. Yes, Shira. What did you want to say? You still remember your question?
שכאילו, רגע, אני מצאה את אחרת, כבר עברתי על זה, שסתם והשם, כאילו, מנסה לכוון אותנו, try to, כאילו, see us the way, and we need to choose, כאילו, sometimes, כאילו, give us like a lot of direction, and we need to choose, right? כאילו, זה,
Because the way Hashem set up the world is that everything goes through the natural order, so we make the choices. Okay. But at the end of the day, if I make a choice and I do something, ultimately there's a divine plan and purpose. Like I said before, if I make the wrong move, I get on the wrong train, I take the wrong plane. I was once on an airplane and they announced, this plane is going to California. If your destination is any other place than California, sit back and relax because there's nothing you can do right now. So basically what happens, there are stories of people that get on a plane and they get off, and it's going to the wrong place. They don't know how they got there. How did they come? They didn't detect it. Clearly it was meant from Hashem. So what I'm saying is, yes, we have to make choices. You have to make the right choices. But even if I make the wrong choice, ultimately Hashem is behind it. And that's one of the things to have in mind, that even if a person did something wrong in life, I made a wrong choice, I did something wrong, and I want to do tshuva, I have to remember that Hashem is also behind that. And there's a purpose. And the purpose is, I did something wrong, I go back and I realize I made a mistake. And if I deal with it the right way, I'll come out stronger from that experience than before. So everything has a purpose. Even Averos have a purpose. Not, God forbid, to go and do it, but if I did it already, if it happened to me, then I have to look back and say, there must have been a purpose. Look, Hashem wants everyone to keep Shabbos, learn Torah, do mitzvahs. So why there's so many Jewish people that were born into a family where they don't keep Shabbos, don't do Torah, don't do mitzvahs? And I'm talking about the child now. The parents made a decision, but why should the child have that? Obviously, that's part of their purpose. They're going to serve Hashem in the way that they're going to serve, coming from that kind of situation. But there's definitely divine providence. This didn't happen by itself. Hashem guided me, even though it looks like it's all natural, but really it's heavenly. There's a heavenly purpose and why I was born in this situation and someone else was born in that situation.
But Hashem tried to direct the people, right?
Hashem gave us a Torah. Okay. The Torah is the direction. Look, where do I go? It's like GPS. We ever in a car with somebody has a GPS, and the GPS says make a right turn, and the person says, doesn't know what he's talking about, I make a left turn. Then they get stuck in traffic. So Hashem is the GPS. It tells us which direction to take. But I have free choice to follow it or not to follow it. But if I make a mistake, what does the GPS say? Okay, let's recalculate. Yeah, you go another way, we'll come around. It's not that Hashem tries. Hashem gives us direction. He leads me to it. And then he wants me to make my choices with my understanding.
Okay.
So the story, many years ago, I heard this from a relative who had happened to him. That this person was a chassid living here in Crown Heights. He didn't have a beard, even though generally a chassid has a beard. And the Rebbe once spoke to a certain rabbi, one of the rabbis in the community, and said, I'd like you to speak to that person about letting his beard grow, but don't tell him it's coming from me. Don't tell him that I asked. Okay. Anyway, he went to speak to that person, found some way of talking about it. And then later he came back to the Rebbe and he said to the Rebbe, this person is very devoted, he loves the Rebbe, he's very committed. If he would only know that the Rebbe wants him to do it, in a second he'd have a beard grow. Is it okay? Can I please tell him that the Rebbe wants it? The Rebbe said to him, who has to let his beard grow, him or me? If he's going to do it because I asked him to, then I'm doing it, not him. I want him to do it. The only way he can do it is if I back off and he has to do it with his own free choice. So generally, that's what Hashem is saying to us. I'm giving you the direction, but I want you to get there through your choices. And if you make a mistake, you correct it, recalculate, you'll get back there. But it has to be it's our journey. That's what it is. Next bracha is Sha'asali Kol Tzarki. He's provided me with my every need. What is that bracha talking about? I'm not even sure why it's expressed that way, but it's talking about shoes. That's why in Tishrei B'Av we don't make that bracha. Yom Kippur, we don't make that bracha.
I thought we didn't make it because we're fasting.
So
So every need doesn't mean like eating?
No, it's specifically about shoes, leather shoes, which make it comfortable to walk on the floor. Again, why is that considered every need? I think I have to do a little bit more research to find the answer, but that's a question. And I'll see if I can look it up for next class to have the answer. There's a Hasidic interpretation, and that is that what's the purpose of shoes? When you walk on the floor is hard ground. There are pebbles, there are rocks, there are other things there that might be things that could be harmful, even insects that could be harmful. When you're wearing shoes, it protects you from what could be there on the ground. Spiritually, it's the same thing. We have a neshama. The neshama is a spiritual entity. When the neshama was up there before it came down, it's in the spiritual world. But Hashem sent us down. And He doesn't want us to live in a hole somewhere in a cave. He wants us to be in the physical world, eating food, and not like other religions. He wants us to get married, live a normal married life, husband and wife, go do business, go out into the world, meet all different kinds of people, interact with all sorts of things. But we need a special bracha that being out there, we shouldn't be harmed. We should be able to be protected. So in a sense, when we say, Hashem, thank you for the shoes, literally it means shoes that protect us from the things that are on the ground. Spiritually, it means it protects us from things that are on the ground, figuratively, in the physical, materialistic world. That it should, even though I'm there, and I'm out there to elevate the physical world, but I should elevate the world, not the reverse. Like somebody once said, when I eat chicken, I'm eating the chicken, making a bracha to elevate the chicken. That the chicken should become part of me, not that I should become like the chicken. If I indulge in the food, I become like the chicken rather than chicken. What do you want to say, Shira?
This is Shazal Kotoki?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next. Oizer Yisrael B'Gvura. What's the definition? Hashem girds us with might. Basically it means a belt that we wear. Why is that associated with might? Because and a person is in terms of fighting a war, you need weapons. The weapons go on the belt of a person. And because of that, the belt represents might. That's where I hang my weapons on. That's the reason that's given.
Sorry, who wrote these brachas?
Like we mentioned yesterday, the Anshe Knesset, the men of the Great Assembly, they wrote the brachas.
Right.
So the wording is chosen by prophets. It's very precise.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of commentary on the Siddur explaining why this, why that. I don't have the answers to all the questions, but I guess who are you going to war with? Who are you fighting with? Yeah. Our best friend, he's always there with us. And we're thanking Hashem. So in fact, there's a pasuk, Chagra ba'oz masneh, to put on the belt with strength. Strength means to be strong and not to give in, basically, not to allow my Yetzer not to allow myself to be defeated. When there's a challenge, to be able to overcome the challenge and not to allow myself to be defeated. Then we thank Hashem for what we're wearing on our heads. Oiter Yisrael b'Sifara. Hashem gave us something to put on our heads that beautifies us. In other words, the clothes in general beautify a person. When a person wears proper clothing, we know that people are very into choosing the right clothing, the color, the style that they like. And Begashmi is a person that's dressed up in a proper way, in a beautiful way. Not only the clothing are beautiful, the person becomes beautiful in the eyes of people that look at them. In fact, there's an interesting Gemara where the Gemara says that God forbid if there are children that are orphans, they don't have any parents, then the community has to provide them with someone that this person will be in charge of all their needs. The Bezdin, the Jewish court of rabbis, have to hire somebody. He should be in charge of their needs. They also have to make sure the person is an honest person, because there's money that belongs to these children, and he has to make sure that the money should be used only for them, and not to use money, chas v'sholom, for his own purposes. So it has to be somebody honest, and it has to be monitored. There's one thing that he's allowed to use their money for himself. What is that? To buy himself decent clothing. Why? Because he goes to represent them. He goes to their schools to represent them. He'll go to the court to represent them if necessary. Wherever it is that he has to do things for them and he has to represent them, his representation will be more honorable and more effective if he's looking decent. So he has to wear decent clothing. So using their money for him to be dressed properly is actually for their benefit. In fact, there was a certain sage, Rabbi Yochanan, when he talked about his clothes, he said, this is what glorifies me. This is what beautifies me, clothing. So number one, we're thanking Hashem for giving us beautiful clothing, especially Oiter Yisrael B'Safar refers more to the covering of the head. It's brought down that one of the great sages, his name was the Rosh, Rabbi Usher. He used to wait until he put on the tefillin. When he put on the tefillin on his head, then he would give bracha. He said, that's the head covering that beautifies me. It's the tefillin of the head. Which, by the way, when it says about the tefillin of the head, that's why the Rebbe introduced Niftzah tefillin in the time of war, that is specifically the tefillin on the head has the power to put fear into the hearts of our enemy that they should not attack. Of course, we're always talking about winning the war. What's better than winning the war is that there is no war. That the enemies are, to begin with, afraid to go to war and to fight, and they just stop fighting. So, that's one of the things that's accomplished. And there's more things about what this represents. We have 3 more brachas. That's also on this sheet. I guess we'll do this the next time around, and you should come. Right, this class finished 11:20, 25?
25.
What?
Yeah,
25, okay. To be continued. We have one bracha there that's of course very controversial. He did not make me a woman. I'm taking on the challenge. I'm giving you a week to come up with all your questions, and then we'll talk about it. You're very welcome. Sorry for the. I have to make a special bracha for having a good voice. Which bracha is that be? I don't know. Must be included in one of these brachas. Yeah.
יכולה להגיד לי את הדיפ זה של פרקי החברים? את העומק של הדבר?
יש עיניים של בשר, יש עיניים של השכל.
אוקיי.
בן אדם, יש לו עיניים, יש בן אדם שרואה בית כנסת, רואה ספר תורה, אבל לא רואה בזה שום דבר. בן אדם שרואה מישהו לא מבין שבן אדם זה מסוכן, משהו כזה. אז צריכים עיני בשר וגם עיני שכל.
עיני שכל.
להבין מה שאני רואה.
והמלכים אצל גבר, סליחה שאני, זה פשוט היה כזה ממש יפה וזה היה כזה מהיר.
שהקדוש ברוך הוא, ואני מאמין שהכל בהשגחה פרטית, ואני מבקש שהקדוש ברוך הוא יוליך אותי בכיוון בדרך נכונה. יעזור לי לקחת את הדרך הנכונה. כן.
You said there are 18 brachos, like here in the beginning, but is there a connection with Shemona Esrei?
Yes, because Shemona Esrei also says that these 18 include everything, but they're very different.
Yeah, really.
I know, that's a question. I don't know the answer, but there must be, again, from a different angle, but it's the same idea of the 18.
Okay.
and it connects to these 18 vertebrae in the
The one.
spine.
The bird.
Birkot Hashachar is the spine, it's supposed to be 18, even though doctors say there's more than 18.
Oh, okay.
But according to Torah, I once spoke to someone who was a doctor, and I was trying to explain it to me, he didn't know what to say. But according to Torah, there's 18 vertebrae that says in the
Oh.
Torah. So it must be that there's something about these 18 that are different than the others.
עוזר ישראל בגבורה. זהו, זה אחרון.
חגורה,
כן,
חגורה, סמל של גבורה, כי הגיבורים, יש להם את הנשק שלהם על החגורה.
אז אנחנו,
אנחנו באמצע מלחמה ביצר הרע.
רגע, ועותר ישראל בתפארה זה כי אנחנו מתלבשים יפה, זה גורם לאנשים לראות אותנו יפים מבפנים גם? הבגדים שלנו חיצונית משפיעים גם על הבפנים?
כן.
באמת?
אבל לא הסברתי את זה, רק אמרתי שזה מסמל של התפילין של ראש, אבל לא הסברתי מה העניין יותר עמוק בלבוש של הראש.
אבל יש עניין כאילו להתלבש, לאנשים להתלבש יפה, זה משפיע גם על הפנימיות?
זה משפיע על הפנימיות, כן.
אוקיי, תודה.
Can I ask you something about
Sure, yeah.
doesn't have anything to do with it? So I saw the blessing on reality, like on shadows. Like the person says it, and then like everyone put it to itself. So like, what do we have to say again?
Why is it like the wine you don't see?
That like is it cut out only or like is it like?
Yeah, there are different customs, other people don't see it. Yeah. Not only about there's something to do, something else. What's the reason? There's a reason.
Rabbi Majeski,
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, do you have time to speak today in the afternoon?
It's supposed to be like
3 o'clock.
my voice is still weird.
Okay, I hope it is. I hope it gets better.
Still the one that's on.
Oh, the cheese.
Still haven't eaten?
Oh my God.
I can't eat.